Brazil, an odd target for new U.S. tariffs.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Schwab. Schwab offers investors choices like full-service wealth management, self-directed investing options, and trading on Thinkorswim. More at schwab.com.
I'm David Brancaccio in Los Angeles. President Trump says he wants 50% import taxes on goods from Brazil, even though Brazil buys more from the U.S. than it sells here. Trump has criticized Brazil's treatment of its former right-wing president, who's on trial for an alleged coup attempt. Luis Fajardo is with the BBC.
Brazilian economic markets have reacted with concern, the real losing value against the dollar. The U.S. is one of the major export markets for Brazil. However, Brazil, it has to be said, it's not as exposed to potential tariffs from the U.S. as other Latin American countries that have also faced the threat. Brazil's largest partner is, in fact, China. But still, it is substantial, and still, at the economic sphere, at least, there's concern about what could happen if these tariffs actually come into being.
And futures prices of the third most popular metal, copper, those are up 8% in a week, 2.25% today, with Trump confirming the U.S. tariffs on copper will go to 50%. The U.S. produces about half its copper supply, with much of the imports from Chile. Stocks S&P futures are down about 0.1%. NASDAQ futures are down slightly, a half hour here before the opening bell. The guardians of interest rates at the Federal Reserve. It's more than one person. The chair of the Federal Reserve is Jerome Powell, but there's more than just him. And newly released notes from a recent central bank meeting show most of them expect President Trump's tariffs will have enduring effects on inflation. Here's Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer.
One of the debates at last month's Fed meeting on interest rates was whether inflation from tariffs will cause ongoing inflation or just hike prices temporarily. According to the minutes, most Fed officials at last month's meeting, quote, noted the risk that tariffs could have more persistent effects on inflation, while a few said tariffs would cause just a one-time increase in prices and would not affect longer-term inflation expectations. Fed officials try to keep inflation in check by raising interest rates. They don't want to lower rates prematurely because that could risk fueling inflation even more. The minutes also say there was a discussion about the considerable uncertainty about the timing, size, and duration of the effect of tariffs on prices. In fact, the word uncertainty was mentioned more than 20 times in the minutes. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
The ChatGPT company is reportedly about to release its own AI-powered internet browser, which would let you get around through dialogue-style chat. The news agency Reuters talked to 3 unnamed sources familiar with the project. In January, OpenAI did a limited release of something called Operator, an AI concierge that works with existing browsers. ChatGPT is already used by 400 million people per week. And an OpenAI-flavored browser would be a challenge to rival Google, which harvests tons of user data of interest to advertisers on its Chrome browser.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Progressive Insurance. Progressive is currently looking for individuals in a variety of career fields who are interested in building a career and joining an inclusive and unique culture. More information, including application, at progressive.com/careers.
Los Angeles in recent days signed onto a lawsuit to try to stop raids by ICE agents in search of people without permission to be in the country. Unlawful tactics by authorities are among the concerns, and there are fresh data on the role of immigrant labor in California, the world's 4th largest economy. From KQED in San Francisco, Alexander Gonzalez has more.
The report explores just how much undocumented immigrants contribute to California's economy. And to figure that out, researcher Abby Royce focused on the state's gross domestic product.
This is really just a fancy way of saying the total value of all the goods and services produced within California.
Royce is with the nonpartisan think tank called the Bay Area Council Economic Institute. She authored the report and found that without undocumented immigrant workers, the hit to the state's GDP would be massive, more than $275 billion annually.
We knew it would be big, but I don't think we realized how far-reaching the role undocumented workers play in sustaining the economy in California would be.
According to the study, undocumented immigrant workers make up 8% of California's workforce, and the majority have deep ties to the state, with a decade or more of experience in key industries like agriculture and construction.
You lose this workforce, and we're not building homes or harvesting crops. I mean, prices go up for everybody.
California alone produces 3/4 of the fruits and nuts and 1/3 of the vegetables consumed in the U.S. Teresa Romero is president of the United Farm Workers Union.
We're talking about workers who are essential to agricultural industry in our country, who are putting food on our tables every single day.
In the face of the recent protests in Los Angeles, President Donald Trump acknowledged how important immigrant labor is to agriculture and other industries. Last month, the administration announced it would pause ICE raids at farms, hotels, and restaurants. But shortly after, the Department of Homeland Security reversed that guidance. Economist Manuel Pastor with the University of Southern California says the arrival of immigrants helps to create jobs
by filling in parts of the labor market where there's very little supply of U.S. labor.
Pastor says the findings of the study are encouraging and could help business leaders realize they have a stake in immigration politics.
The reality of our global economy and of our California economy is a story of interdependence.
This interdependence faces a tough road ahead, especially following the recent U.S. Supreme Court rulings on immigration. One of them eases rapid deportations to countries where immigrants have no ties. I'm Alexander Gonzalez for Marketplace.
Customizing the following story by age. If you're under 12, know that the Kinder Egg people are in talks to buy the Fruit Loops people. The version if you're over 50, the Ferrero Rocher people are in talks to buy the All Brand people. It's Ferrero of Alba, Italy, working on a deal for W.K. Kellogg of Battle Creek, Michigan. Ferrero invented Nutella hazelnut spread when chocolate was dear after the Second World War. Tic Tacs in 1969, Kinder Eggs in 74. W.K. Kellogg holds in 1969, Kinder Eggs in 74. W.K. Kellogg holds the especially big in America cereal brands. The more global products, Pringles, Cheez-Its, Pop-Tarts, were hived off into a separate company called Kellanova about 2 years ago. It's the Marketplace Morning Report from APM, American Public Media.
And you can tune in for